That's cool. The record button actually lit up in red when I pushed. I should have actually used this one. What was I doing? I did the old way.
I was
Fuck.
gonna say something.
Yeah, I had it pulse with a red light. Oh well. Old habits die hard. Welcome back to the Anachroschism. When we left off last time, the party had taken shop in a lovely retirement villa near the river. That's not entirely what it is, but it's sort of true
There's
still.
only a couple dead bodies in this villa.
Could have been worse. We
Could have been
prevented
worse.
a real bad slaughter.
Could have found 3 more dead bodies potentially. Not entirely sure what the invisible stalkers were up to, but they salvaged the 3 people that had been kidnapped, sent them on their way with Frederick to go back to Waychester, get them to safety, and now they've decided to sort of set up shop here and see if anybody else comes to claim their handiwork.
Mm-hmm.
So, by this point, as I recall, we're going into like early afternoon. You guys have some time at your disposal here. Is there anything in particular you'd like to do with it? We did it at the very end of the last session, both for my own player's reminder and the viewers. You guys basically canvassed the houses, and those 2 dead bodies were the only people that you found in the area. There were no signs of anybody else in them. So you've already kind of looked around, but is there anything else in particular that you would like to do with this time until something may or may not happen?
Our rug is back with our cart in an entirely different...
Yeah, it is.
Yes, sir.
I love that rug.
I was thinking about it. I was like, we left a lot of shit back there.
Yeah.
You could probably put the rug in the bag of holding. I don't know why we don't do that.
I know.
That's smart,
Did-
actually.
Did we not do that?
No.
I
No,
don't
we
know that we
definitely
would've thought
did
about
not.
it. It's huge, and no.
You could
You
look to do
roll
it
it
going
up.
forward.
Yeah, well, we should do that moving forward. But another time.
My favoriteest toy ever.
I mean, we just need to make sure someone's on watch, and the rest of us just need to chill in like a house that has like a window view of the house in question, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay. I was gonna
I
say
could-
because we're assuming it's a person, not another another stalker, so we can.
I mean, if it's another invisible stalker, like they could be in the room with us right now. So like at that point,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember, D&D is about slowly driving the players to be more and more paranoid.
no.
That's true.
We're gonna open the door. All right, I'm gonna check for traps. It's a church. I don't care.
That's how they get you.
Is it a church or a church-shaped mimic? That's
God, giant mimic. So
Jeez.
the question, I suppose, is who would like to take watch? You can
I
get
can
into
take
another.
watch.
You can get into one of those other like 4 central houses, and that'll give you like a side window view on the one that you were in. There's nothing that's going to be like behind it, so you can see that house and the other ones because that was towards the front as you approached it, basically. But you can get side window access.
I'm gonna, before we do that, make a point of trying to, checking to make sure it doesn't look obvious from outside of the building that we are in it. There's no like obvious like it's not light sand that we walk through, leaving giant footprints and stuff, that sort of thing.
For the most part, and you can just kind of tell this at a glance. If somebody were to really if somebody was good at tracking and they took a look, they might be able to tell from the sudden influx of footsteps. But there's nothing in the ground that makes it look like heavy footfalls, that sandy like wet beach area, and any of that stuff where it's like from a distance you can be like, oh, there was people in there.
Cool.
Are there any trees near? Probably a lot, but like right outside of the house or something?
Not especially in this area. This area is relatively clear. There are some sort of surrounding it. It's not like wooded per se. There's just some trees kind of scattered about. They get more dense the closer you get to the river, but that's also further away from the house in question.
Is there a tree that's close-ish by, within gun range, that I could climb?
Gun
Or
range
are they
is
not?
200.
well, which gun? One of them is busted.
I'm going to address that in a second.
Yeah.
I'm really after the long rest, so I should probably do this in order. But the tree, I can do it technically from the tree.
Yeah,
but,
the guns have the same range, though. So
yeah, so I'd like to try to climb the tree.
I think you should be able to get one that has a vantage point, yeah.
Okay.
It's going to be pushing it for anything outside of that. Like, you probably have, like, the house in range and not much behind it. But it should get you at least to there.
Okay. And then how high would I be? How high is this tree?
8-10 feet.
Okay.
None of these are super big. Again, bigger, more dense as you get closer to the river, but out here, not so much. There is also a path kind of cut in those trees as you go southwest towards the river. There's a path kind of cut through it that connects the river to this area, which seems to be something that people that would use if they were doing hunting, fishing, etc. But you can set up shop in a tree that's away from that, and it still has a vantage point on the house.
Is that acrobatics or athletics?
I'm not worried about it.
Oh, okay.
You're not under duress. If you want to try and fail climbing up an 8-foot tree, I'll let you roll athletics, but it's very mundane, and you can do it without. You're level 7 now. You can do it with no problem.
Yay.
As long as you're not certain druid we know in cat form, you should be good.
Yes. Those would be athletics checks
Look it down.
with disadvantage because you're too mentally scarred.
Yes.
So he's going to go climb in a tree.
Mhm.
Crash is kind of inspecting the outside. That's sort of what he's up to at this moment. What's everybody else doing?
I will volunteer to take watch, and probably just go inside the house and try to get a good vantage on the house we broke into, and just make sure I can kind of see everything.
If
Oh.
okay. If Lena doesn't mind, I wouldn't mind keeping her company.
Okay, I don't mind. I appreciate the company, and I'm pretty happy about it. So,
I'm gonna pull a Katniss, by the way, and tie a rope around me in the
Hey,
tree. So
nice.
if I fall asleep, it's okay.
I just remembered we broke out all the windows and knocked down the door, didn't we?
That is
Yes.
correct.
Sure did.
And I think I
okay.
asked
I don't
about
think
mending
anybody's
it last
gonna
time.
not know what happened.
Yeah, so I was thinking about that. I don't think it really matters though. There's really, I mean, they're gonna approach because unless they can see like the broken down door from when they're approaching, I mean, I don't know if it
And
really
then-
matters.
If we put more than one person on at a time, we can have somebody else try and like see the path we think they might be coming from, or watch the path they might be coming from. Does that make any sense at all?
It does. We're
Yeah.
basically looking for anyone approaching this deserted town, honestly.
Yeah.
Anyone even approaching this place is suspect at this
That's
point.
true.
Right, we don't necessarily need them to go into the house.
It's very true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
I
mending
will-
as a cantrip was going to take
Would
too
take
long to.
Yeah.
Hours.
You might have been able to fix like a window or two in the next few hours, but we're definitely not going to get it all ship-shape.
Right.
A bigger spell that could do stuff like that, maybe, but not mending.
Yeah. I'll put the door back up ish.
Yeah, that's good.
Even if it doesn't like stick, maybe I'll try wedging something into it to make it look at least like it's up in place.
And it takes some force to do so, but you're able to kind of wedge it in there to where, at least not until closer inspection, it looks like the door's fine. It wouldn't hold up to scrutiny, and it would certainly not hold up to anybody touching it, because it's probably just going to go as soon as somebody pushes on it. But
Yeah.
at least that'll kind of cover your tracks a little bit.
Okay. Then all right. Then I'll just go. I'll take first nap.
Okay. You can't really sleep at this time of day, for the record. It's been like 6 hours since you. Well, I mean, had a little earlier start to the morning, but even so, it's can't really do like a long rest at this point. But you can take a short rest.
That's fine.
You can get stuff back that way.
Oh, I won't do the if we're not sleeping. For some reason, I thought we were at night. So
No, it's like 2 p.m.
Oh.
At least at the start of this.
then I'm not gonna tie the rope.
Okay.
I'm not gonna
Hey,
unless I'm
You
like
never know.
narcoleptic.
They can put a sleep. They can put a sleep spell on you. You don't know
I
that.
redact the rope.
You could just slip and fall. You don't have to be asleep.
Tessian will keep Grail and Lena company as well.
Aw.
right.
There's no reason to split up. I don't
Yeah.
see.
What a cock block. I mean, what?
Hey, look, you start making a move, he can, you know.
You can misty step right on out of there.
So, what are all your forms?
Yeah.
Oh.
Are you guys talking about anything in particular? You're the three that are together, so it raises the question: do you have a conversation here at any point? Either a general one or a full one, up to you.
Gosh. Tessian might be like, oh, well, I think that went about as well as we could have imagined, I suppose. I mean, we managed to get everyone out. Hopefully we can track whoever this is. But I don't know. I'll admit I'm a little concerned about this upcoming decision by the Empress. I don't know if trying to take down Faust is something that we're ready for. If he's got the kind of resources that he does. It needs to happen, but I don't know. This might be really hard on Isaac.
And God, what do I want
I was
to
gonna
say?
say I can't respond. I'm in the tree.
No.
Uh,
This is why Tessian's talking about it.
I nod and I say, I'm worried too. I don't know if we have the means to do this right now. But even just even if we can't do anything now, maybe just having the Empress know what's going on, maybe that's enough. I don't know.
I think it's important that she knows. It's just the more I think about the complexity of the designs and the defenses he had that you ran into, Grail, it makes me wonder just how prepared he might be. We might have the elements of surprise here, but it's clear that Faust Strident is working on things far ahead of anything that the Empire is prepared to deal with. And if these were just designs, I mean, just imagine if he's completed something. We could be walking into some serious danger. I don't know. I might just be worrying about it, but
I don't
good
think.
reason.
Yeah, don't think you're wrong to be concerned. I don't know what the best course of action is. I hope that whatever the Empress decides to do, that it's the best decision we can make. But it is troubling just how ahead it seems like he is on everything. It seems like he's always just one step ahead in every regard with these designs and whatever he's planning. It's a little scary to think about.
well, and there are other things. I mean, we know that he's been able to design weapons that can take memories from people. And Isaac uses them, after all. If he's managed to duplicate that, who's to say he hasn't perfected it? Maybe they don't have to kill whoever they run into. They can just take these things. And normally, I mean, I wouldn't be that concerned about it, but... And he kind of looks to Grail, and he goes, we've come into some information regarding bigger events that are happening here. Entire other worlds, potentially, that if he doesn't know about them, I worry what would happen if he found out.
Right. I was thinking the same thing, actually.
I guess what I'm saying is, I think we need to be careful about how much we expose ourselves in the coming conflict here. We are privy to information that we cannot let fall into his hands. Mana cannon or otherwise, those dangers are present, but imagine if he had an entire other world and their resources at his disposal. That's what concerns me.
I'm worried that, like Lena said, he's already a step ahead of us.
Well, worrying about it won't get us anywhere. I felt I should voice my concern.
And I always appreciate hearing your input, Tessian, and you're not alone in those concerns. I feel them as well.
Yeah.
It's good to hear that. He gives you a pat on the shoulder.
Take 2 points of bludgeoning damage.
Oh.
Oh,
I mean, my
have,
back
like,
did get kind of wrecked earlier, so.
I have like 8 strength. It's just like sprained my hand on you.
right. It's like a limp noodle. Drapes across your shoulder. Okay. Karash, once you've kind of finished making a patrol of the exterior, what are you up to?
I was just gonna go lay down because I figure we're gonna be here for a while.
Okay. For the purposes of this, all of you can basically have taken a short rest. So that will replenish some things. Not all.
HP if you want.
You can spend hit dice if you need to replenish some of your health. It's not the thing that's happened a lot in this campaign, but this is a spot where you could consider it. You have 7 of them now.
I will do one.
I'll spend 1 of that resource.
I mean, I'm only like, okay, maybe I'll do 2. I'm 7 points away from max HP, so.
Well, you can do 1 and then decide if you want to do another one. You don't have to commit
Okay.
in advance.
A couple of you got some
They gotta
lay on
get-
hands.
Yeah, they
'cause
got
I'm
lay on
cleaning
hands, which is
out.
why they're not as bad in bad a shape as they were.
Yeah.
Am I a D8? Is that my dice?
Probably.
Yes.
Yeah. I wrote D7. That's fun. Because,
Yeah,
you know,
roll a
the
D7.
standard 7-sided dice.
We'll roll.
That sounds about right for the unworldly Grail. So.
Yeah. Will roll 20 do that? Because you can't
I
actually.
don't think
but
so. All right, I'll roll another one. I got a 3.
Okay. So I'll mark those down. You spent 2 for the day, whatever.
Okay.
Anything that triggers on a short rest is back. Long rest, no.
Oh, 5.
The answer is yes. It will roll a D whatever.
Oh God, there it is.
I had a feeling it might. I don't know how the visual one would work, but it doesn't matter. Anyways, I will have everybody who is, especially after like the first hour has passed or so and you've rested up and done your exploration and whatnot, everybody can make a perception check. As we get into the late afternoon.
I just critted on a D36.
Okay.
A natural 36.
That's amazing.
Way to waste your good roll.
Oh no!
No.
Oh my god!
I did roll a 1 now on my perception check.
That is completely perfect.
That's very beautiful.
You were up to the challenge of the D36, but the D20 eludes you.
You know, if we just played with D36s, I'd be set. That's what I'm saying.
Damn.
I rolled a 23.
23.
I rolled a 22.
22.
18.
18.
I'm having to relaunch the thing, so maybe
Oh.
just keep going. I rolled
one.
and it didn't. Nothing showed. You guys aren't seeing my roll, are you? By any chance?
No, it's
No.
It may have crashed.
Yeah. It crashed.
It did.
don't lish the crash.
In the meantime, I would probably make small talk with Grail
15.
throughout the hour. Just about
'Kay.
like random stuff, really.
So Tessian's staring at the floor, and
Hi, is this girl talk now? Excuse me.
mhm.
So fed up with you two.
I'm trying to like zone out, like, you know, like not listen to them talk. So I'm like flipping through my journal, and because I'm specifically not listening to them, I'm not listening to anything. I'm just like,
Yeah.
very engrossed.
no.
It takes a concerted effort. For those of you in or around the house that you're kind of setting up shop in, so basically the 3 of you, not named Isaac, because Tessian's rolled a 1. You can see how this place was sought out. Its location is pretty nice. You can still hear the river in the background as you could when you first approached. And in general, like, you have a nice line of sight for the upcoming sunset, and it becomes pretty clear pretty quickly, like, yeah, this was a nice little like encampment or, you know, just set of cabins in general that some people here must have been using for some time. And it's peaceful. If you didn't know any better from the last few hours of having been here and what you found in that one particular cabin, you would think that this was just like an idyllic, lovely lifestyle. But it's almost off-putting now because there was something that happened here, and that that quiet is sort of replaced by like an eerie silence instead. Keeping an eye from the windows and, you know, listening best you can with really no other interruptions, because other than the trickling sound of water, you don't really hear much in the area because no one else is in the cabins. You spend the first couple hours as you get into the afternoon sort of listening, maybe even a little more focused than usual because you're thinking, what if somebody else is invisible? Like, I'm going to really listen so I can hear anybody. It seems to go okay. Isaac, from your vantage point, much the same. You're a little bit closer to the river, although it's still a matter of feet compared to, you know, probably a better part of a half a mile to get there. But from up there, you hear some of the gentle rustling of the leaves. But again, you're sort of like trained on what's going on, and you really don't hear anything approaching. You guys can find some stuff that seems to be in decent condition as far as food in the cabin that you're in. If you want to make a meal out of it, you can. Sort of up to you guys. There's the makings for that. There's a campfire, or there's a fireplace inside. Could cook something up. That's sort of up to you.
I like
wanna-
that idea.
Yeah, let's cook
sounds nice.
something.
Yeah.
Let's make lunch.
Mini
Brunch.
game.
Let's
I
steal
mean.
the dead
Yay.
people's food, and
Yeah.
they don't need it.
We'll
I mean,
compensate
yeah,
them.
it'll
Yeah.
just go bad otherwise.
Listen, we're doing these dead people a favor, okay?
And that will be on the tombstone.
yeah.
Are we in a different house than the one with the old people?
That was my impression.
Yeah, so we're in like a stranger's house now.
Yes.
We're just
Yeah.
like, oh, look at these, like just opening cabinets and like pulling
Yeah.
out their. Okay.
It's the price of protection.
Yeah. I mean, they could have been dead, but we stopped it, so now
Feed us.
this bread and jam is ours.
Yes. And it's essentially more dried goods. There's no like fresh fish anywhere or anything like that because no one seems to have been here for at least a few days. But you're able to whip together something decent as a meal, satisfies the non-meat eaters of the group, etc., etc.
Me.
Yes. It's a chance to bond.
Yay.
A rare
I
moment
love
of quiet
it. Yes.
in a storm of chaos.
Do we get a bonding point?
Absolutely. Put it on your
Yes,
character sheet.
yes.
Make it a note.
Perfect. Oh, I get a little star.
One bonding point.
Sweet.
Can we like try to cook a meal? Like, I don't know. It's in Xanathars. I think you get like temporary HP or something. I don't know. There's like a thing.
What can we roll for this?
I think
Well-
it's a cooking utensils check. I don't know. I actually don't have my
Yeah.
Xanathars on me because I'm a terrible person. It's normally
It
next
is
to
a
me.
cooking utensils check. It's
What have
it's
you
one of the
done?
optional.
Yes.
I
Hold
played with
on.
somebody who did that as their character type. It was a chef. It was real bad.
I think Xanathars has the cook's utensils in it.
Yeah.
It does. See, this is. I wish I just had the book with me. I turned right to it.
Oh, hey, look,
I'm reading.
I have that.
Yeah, read it. Page 80 of Xanathars.
Page Xanathar of 80.
So if we pretend that this kitchen, as it were, has what's equivalent to a set of cook's utensils, a metal pot, knives, forks, a stirring spoon, and a ladle, which is reasonable, then sure, we can make this into a little skill challenge.
Hell's
Fun.
yes.
As cooking utensils prepare a meal. As part of a short rest, you can prepare a tasty meal that helps your companions regain their strength. You and up to 5 creatures of your choice regain 1 extra hit point per hit dice spent during a short rest, provided you have access to your cooking utensils and sufficient food.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. That's what it is.
So I'll have each of the three of you, since Karash is off resting at the time. So the three of you being Grail, Lena, Tessian,
Sweet.
make one of, and you'll have to talk amongst yourselves about how to approach this, one of a history, medicine, or survival check.
Ooh.
My best
For
skill is
survival.
survival.
Hey, me too.
Hey, nice. My
That's-
What are you, Tessian?
second.
We would like to survive the meal, so.
History's mine. My best one.
Okay.
Mm.
My medicine's okay. It's a 5.
Oh, it's my history's a 5.
My history's a 2.
Mm.
And so is my medicine,
That's-
so it doesn't matter.
So what's your survival?
5.
Okay, so then Tessian is history, Grail's medicine.
My
or-
survival's an 8.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we got 5,
It's wisdom.
8, and
Yeah, that's kind of my
2 for Tessian?
wheelhouse.
5 history. Oh gosh, I don't know. Basically, do we take 5 on all of them, or like a 2 on one of them and then the 8 on the other? Mathematically, we should take the 8.
on all
and-
of them. Didn't you?
Wait.
Because what's your medicine, Grail?
2.
Yeah.
I mean,
I could do
Depending
the
on-
medicine because it's a 5.
just do that. We'll do +5 on all of them. We're probably not aiming for a super high DC, so
'Kay.
it's probably 5.
That works.
So who goes?
think.
Oh, no.
This was going to be the best meal ever.
As you
DC
cook it,
30.
as
The
you
food was
accidentally,
poisoned.
yeah, you accidentally cook another invisible stalker. All
You
right,
get to turn invisible.
roll them checks.
Oh god,
It's like,
it's a
it's
7.
like Fugu, you forgot to
Wait,
take the poison sack
am
out.
I rolling survival?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Oops.
Yep, survival. Well played.
Did I not do it? Oh.
I'm never gonna survive.
Oh. 9.
So we have a 7 medicine, a 14 history, and a 9 survival.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh Christ,
We
we're all
did-
gonna have food
we did
poisoning.
real good.
Even worse.
So the three of you decide, you know what? We're waiting. We can keep an eye on things while we're cooking. You know, this won't be so bad. This will be fine. None of you are especially renowned as cooks. It's
No.
not really a thing any of you have a ton of in your backstory, but you've all at least dabbled in it, and one of you uses magic to correct it when it doesn't go well. You spend some time putting things together, cooking it over the open fire, and there's that little voice in the back of your head that you're like, I don't know if this is quite right. Like, you know, one of you thinks back, like, I think my mom did this recipe different, and the other person's like, you know, my family, I think, you know, diced these instead of chopping them. You end up with a meat-free stew that is edible. It might need some help from you, Tessian, because as you guys taste it to see how well your work has turned out, the answer is it's not awful. It doesn't make you want to like spit it out or anything, but you're like, this was missing something. There's an ingredient or something that went wrong here in the process that left this like very just bland. It's edible, it'll fill you up, but you're like, damn.
Oh.
That ingredient is prestidigitation. There we go. Add a little zest to it. A little bit of that, like, I don't know.
Razzle dazzle.
A little bit of that razzle dazzle right on top.
Perfect.
That was a Macho Man hand gesture. I like it.
Yeah.
The cream of the crop, yeah. And it's a shame too, because as you guys all get like spoons to try it, you're all like beaming because you're like, we put this together, we did it with love, it went great, and you try and you all kind of look at each other and you're like, well, it wasn't terrible, but you're like,
It's missing something.
But
We'll do it better next time.
it was a first attempt,
Yes,
and you guys haven't really done this together, let alone much apart, so it wasn't terrible, but it definitely didn't come out quite as good as you thought it might have when you were doing it. You're like, we got this, and you try it and you're like,
But I had fun. We all had fun doing it together, and
But-
that's the important thing.
By the time Karash, you start smelling things from the kitchen area, and you come out, it actually smells pretty good because you come out after Tessian's already messed with it.
Yep.
This smells wonderful.
No one will know.
It'll be
Except for us.
our secret.
A secret we take to the grave.
Yeah. Does somebody go to get Isaac?
Well,
We can
Can
bring
we?
it out to him, I suppose.
No, I'm gonna just take a bowl up to him.
Okay.
Yep.
He's, as you can see, not in the tree.
Well, that's different.
He's vanished into the ethereal plane.
So-
Sick.
Oh shit, he's in the tree.
Ooh.
Oh shit, there he is.
Long story short, they tried to cook, it went and now Grail's going to bring you out your food to your perch in the tree.
Oh, wow. I'm going to do a double knee hang from a branch down
Nice,
with my hand.
nice.
Um,
I
Be
hand
like-
it to you.
eat it
oh,
upside down.
what did you guys cook?
Oh, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It's a stew.
Oh, God. It's going to be trying to do a crunch while keeping the stew upright.
And I'm gonna just kind of stand there and watch as you do this.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty
Make an acrobatics check.
awkward.
Nice.
But, this is what I trained for,
Yeah.
is to drink soup upside down.
This is what your uncle gave you. The lasting gift of his legacy.
26.
Oh
my God.
So,
So you're watching
look
Grail,
easy.
and it's
This
like
is what you train for.
he's hanging down, and you're like, how is he gonna do this? And all of a sudden, with smoother movement than you're expecting, and abs crunching underneath his outfit, he uses his legs to kind of lift up his torso, and he pulls up his arms in a way that he can kind of flip up, and doing so without spilling a drop of the stew.
yep.
And this is how Isaac gets a hernia.
It turns out I
Yeah.
forgot the spoon, but I'm like, don't worry, I'll just sip it. It's fine.
My eyebrows kind of like leap up into my hair, and I'm like, I gotta say, that was impressive.
Yeah, not good for much, but weird acrobatic things, you can usually count on me. This
I
is
laugh,
pretty good. This is
and I am
pretty good.
quickly going to say, anything? Have you seen anything? Heard anything?
No, there are quite a few birds out here, but no invisible stalkers.
Well,
Couldn't really see those anyway, but
Sure.
nothing
Well,
out
well-
of the ordinary, I will say.
as long as them birds aren't making a nest on your head, I think we'll be fine.
No, not yet. But if that was the worst of my worries for the next couple of days, I would be grateful.
Oh, ain't that the truth?
How's everyone doing in there?
Well, we're holding up. As you can tell, we got a little bored and decided to do some cooking, but it's slow going. Staying the course, I guess.
We should probably head back to town soon, but we can wait it out a little more.
Yeah, this is kind of a strange situation, but I mean, at least it was successful. We found the kidnapped.
Yeah. Oh, no, I think we've accomplished a lot. Just keep me updated on what the plan is.
All right, will do. And I turn around and go back.
Okay. And for the record, it does taste pretty good. So you have this this lingering thought that maybe, just maybe, it wasn't that way naturally. But you're not sure. And it doesn't matter because it goes down pretty nice anyways. The same is true of you, Karash. You had this slight feeling that, like,
It's vegetables. The likelihood of me getting sick from this seems low.
yeah. And it doesn't taste bad in any way. It's just kind of like, okay, this is pretty good. I don't know if it was their doing, but it doesn't matter. It's good. Leave it be.
It's not a marshmallow.
You guys finish eating, kind of put things back the way you found them, clean up a bit. And I'll have everybody make another perception check. Who would like to? Do not have to.
25.
Jesus.
5.
Oh, Tessian.
14.
Hey, you and me, we're chilling. I got a 7.
Yeah.
Well. Big 12.
Teach you some of that magic.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's probably what we're doing.
Very distracted, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tessie, have you ever perceived anything in your life?
I mean, my fiance's pretty good looking.
Well,
I think she likes me.
I got news for you,
So-
actually.
Just permanent, beer goggles his entire
Yeah,
life.
exactly. It's like the Snapchat filter.
She, she lets go of major image to reveal
It's
Just a hag.
it's shallow
Actually,
Hal.
ever-
Monster.
it's a real life version of the incredibly tasteful film Shallow Hal.
Mm-hmm. Ah, Jack Black.
God.
What was the highest out of that
Gwyneth
again?
Paltrow.
What?
What was the highest out of that again?
Oh, 25?
That's definitely the
I think that was the only one that was more than like 15, right?
Yeah, I only had 14.
Okay. That was you, Lena?
Yep.
Okay. That's what I thought. I realized I wasn't in roll 20 either. I was going to look back at the series of rolls, and I'm like, oh, it's too late. Everybody else is kind of having a sort of relaxing evening as much as you can, given what's happened today and what is still to come in the near future. But it is at least nice for a moment to be doing normal things, making a meal, sharing it with people you're close to. And so you're still doing your due diligence, paying attention best you can. Lena, and don't ask me to explain how this works, just because you have really good hearing, I guess.
Okay.
In the quiet of the evening, as you start to hear some crickets, you still hear the water in the background. There's still the occasional bird chirping, but not as frequent now as the sun begins to set. You also hear what sounds like footsteps
Okay.
approaching from the southwest.
Okay.
Somehow, again, you're just so attuned to nature that you pick up on this before Isaac does. He's only he's not too far from you anyways, but sounds like footfalls approaching, not really making efforts to be quiet. And as you listen in for a moment, because you've kind of picked up on this first, it sounds as though whatever this person or persons is skipping.
Okay, I'm going to immediately grab the shoulder of whoever's closest to me, either Tessian or Grail, and then just kind of tilt my head or whatever and just indicate that there's something outside, and then point to my ear that I'm listening. So
And Tessian, I'll lean over to Grail and just be like, inform Isaac, someone's coming.
Yeah. I was thinking that too.
And he is within range of message if you want to go that approach.
Yeah, I would like to shoot a message over to him, and
Do I need to ask where, or once I get the message, can I see it?
Once she kind of tips you off, you can kind of hone in on it approaching. So it doesn't have to be. It's more a matter of being like, oh shoot, I should listen for this, and when you take the time to, you go, oh yeah, Jesus, I hear that.
Okay.
Isaac, from your vantage point now, sort of having a heads up, you see. Where did it go? Where did it go? There you are. Nope, that's not it. Hold on. Apologies.
This small child is about to get ambushed.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Shoot first, ask questions later.
Hi, small child. Which one of these houses contains your dead relatives?
You see a young-looking female elf. It's difficult to make out a ton of particular features because you're just kind of getting a vantage point of her as you see her through the trees and the openings. On the path going from the river up to this little grotto of sorts. But certainly an elf. You can pick up on the ears from a distance. Blonde hair, gray eyes. Seems to have nice clothing, like a pretty well-made dress. Either her hands are extremely pale or she has on what might be some kind of like silk or other nice gloves. And she appears to be skipping merrily down the path.
Alone?
Alone.
How old does she look? Like in human years, like if we were to equate them.
She looks like a young adult or old teenager. 20-ish in humans terms.
Evil.
Skipping.
I don't trust anyone over the age of 12
She's like
skipping.
the little Men in Black girl with the calculus books.
Oh,
Shit.
yeah.
Does she have any books on her?
Not that you can see from here.
Calculus 2.
I don't
Well,
trust her.
I'm more concerned that she might have summoning books on her.
Do we all see her, or was that just me?
That's just you because you're outside
so
near
is
the
it enough
path.
time for me to send back the message of what for them to expect?
I'll say for the purpose of why not, that sure.
Okay.
Because you get tipped off to the footsteps, you look over in the direction of them and see at least that much so far. You can't really make out any more than that from this distance and with the trees in between.
I told them to be ready for it, but I'm not particularly worried.
Okay.
But just as a heads up that this is who's coming.
Okay. And obviously I relay that to Lena and Tessian when I hear back from Isaac.
Another couple of moments pass. As everybody now is sort of on their guard, you all can take up a vantage point at the window if you'd like, or not, whatever, it's fine. Or at the door, kind of peeking out with it cracked. You watch as this young girl skipping, and as it's gotten a little bit closer, Isaac, as she's sort of going past your position. Well, first of all, okay. Skipping past, she actually kind of starts humming to herself. As she's skipping. Then a couple moments pass, and she enters this opening now where the trees kind of cut off. They're not super dense, but the clearing now where these 6 cabins are. And she is heading towards the one that you were in earlier with the busto windows and kick-down door.
Okay.
She is evil.
And it's to the point after you watch her for a moment where, like, unless she's going to make some kind of weird, like, beeline, that's the one she's going to. It's not like she could be maybe one or the other. You watch to the point where you're like, that's the one she's headed to.
This skipping bitch.
Yep.
Which one of us is best for taking someone out alive?
Oh, Jesus.
I was
Not
just
me.
saying.
Yeah, to say, we know who the worst person is, and maybe the second worst pretty close by.
I don't know, though. I think, Grail, you're probably the best for, like, alpha striking people.
Oh, God.
God, do you have the
Chris,
stomach
is she
for this,
still
though?
in range? Or at what point does she move out of range from me?
She is still in range.
Will she still be in range if she makes it all the way to that house?
She'll be in range. If she goes into the house, you're not going to have a shot at her.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but you basically have range to about the back of the house where you've set up shop. So if anybody goes past it or continues on to Waichester or anything like that, they're going to be out of your range pretty quick. But for now, yes.
I'm going to go down the tree. I want to follow stealthily.
I'm not going to do
Stealthily.
it. I want to see how this plays out a little bit.